What is up, YouTube? We are making another itemization video. In this video, I'm going to look at some games that I played. These first ones are just going to be games that were too old to grab replays of. So I'm literally just going to be looking at the score screen and kind of talking about my items from there. And we'll see what I can remember. Some of these are like kind of 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. I might not remember perfectly. But I'll take a look at my items and provide like a justification for how I came to that. And then I do have some replays saved of games where you can kind of like look in game and see what's happening, and that's usually the best way to figure out what's going on item wise. But for these first games, we're just going to look at the score screen. So looks like we were kind of ahead, got behind, a little bit of back and forth, but we did end up winning. And let's look at my progression. So early stick, wand, boots. Got the drums first, which is an aggressive item. As long as you don't need a super defensive item, I really like picking up the drums on Undying, just so you can run around and be really aggressive on the map and buff up your cores, assuming your cores get a lot out of the drums effect, which like Monkey and Alk definitely do. Then it's good to pick up. And it looks like I went for the Holy Locket, probably just trying to keep cores alive as we like sustain our aggression, keeping that, like part of keeping that aggression going is sustaining your cores. Like this gives a little bit of health and mana, and they can be kind of good because the opponent's damage, like, I don't know, it seems like kind of would run out. I'd have to go look at the game. You know, I can't go look at the game, but you know, if you imagine like Puck and Lesh like kind of get burst off and then it like falls off a little bit, it's like sustained damage over time. TA is like a little bursty, but only so you can stay like on top of somebody. Clock and support Pudge are not a ton of damage. So probably the rationale for the Holy Locket. Not really sure what this buckler is about because it looks like I went back for Boots of Bearing. I was probably out of drum charges, which is kind of when you want to look to upgrade the Boots of Bearing, not really before that. And the game was closing out, but I was going for a Solar Crest, which is just further amping up of our like aggressive potential. So I obviously didn't see the need for any defensive items this game. The way it was playing out, I probably just wasn't getting gone on a lot, or as an Undying, sometimes it's okay if you just get your spells off once and then die, right? If you're getting your tombstone down, if you're getting a solid heal, and then like you die, your team will like clean them up, right? On top of the tombstone. That can happen a lot, so you don't always need like super defensive items. On Undying, they're typically best if you're like dying before you're getting your spells off, and you're like, okay, I need a defensive item here, or otherwise I'm not getting my spells off, and then I'm useless. What else to say here? Looks like I got MVP. That's pretty cool. And let's just look at the breakdown real quick. So my total heal, 15,000 in total. Although I guess that includes some of this junk and wand. But you can see a lot of heal coming out from the Soul Rip and the Locket as well. So looks like almost 13,000 heal between these two abilities for my team, which is, I think that's a lot. So you can really play into the heal in some games on Undying, whereas some games, like, it's not as good. And no, I will not elaborate because I can't look at... I can't go look at the game, so I can't remember exactly. Alright, but let's go on to the next game. And some of these will be wins and some of these will be losses. So this game I'm a Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman can be pretty simple when it comes to items. Let's see. Part of it, not that many kills relative to how many our team had. We had a lot of kills this game. Holy moly. It looks like we were pretty ahead the whole time. And looking at my items. Started boots. I think it was position 4 Shadow Shaman. Picked up an early raindrop, as I like to do. Got some arcane boots at a good timing. 9 minutes is really nice. And it looks like I went straight into Aether, then Shard, went back for a wand, and then picked up Blink and Force Staff. So this is like pretty straightforward, like Shadow Shaman items if you're winning. Sometimes you can get the wand earlier if you need it, depending on the lane. Looks like I was against like a Jug Pudge or Jug Marcy, so I don't think there was a ton of spells being spammed. And like picking up the Aether and the Shard is just kind of the dream, and then still getting a Blink. You know, 27 minutes isn't too bad considering I had Shard and Aether before that. And then Force Staff is the next item. Makes sense to me just looking at their lineup because Razor wants to get on top of you and stay on top of you. It's okay for getting away from the Pandas, although they're very fast. It's good for getting away from Pudge. It's good for getting away from Marcy for the most part, unless she has Rebound up and they're like all chasing you. And it can be okay getting away from like Jug Spin. So Force Staff seems pretty reasonable. Looks like it was a pretty greedy item build, but ended up working out. As like I said, we were pretty far ahead. So when you're ahead, you want to itemize to be strong for yourself, not to necessarily buy a bunch of early defensive items, right? The Aether Shard like means I'm like very strong, right? You can see I'm not dying a ton, even as a support hero in a game where they have a lot of kill threat. So this is a loss. I was an Undying. Let's see. Looks like we were losing pretty much the whole time after the laning stage ended. So just to give context of like kind of what was happening in the game, I got a relatively early wand, raindrop, boots. Looks like I went for Tranquils and Holy Locket. Oh, you know what? I remember this game. I like bought Tranquils, but then I like also started going Holy Locket, and then I realized like if you're gonna go Holy Locket, you should obviously go the mana boots first and then just disassemble into the Holy Locket and then finish Tranquils after, so it's just kind of a mistake. I think I would Holy Locket just to try and keep my team alive. And to wrap up, it looks like, so I finished the Holy Locket, then I got the Ghost Scepter, and maybe I should have gotten Ghost Scepter earlier this game. I can't look back on it, but PA was obviously a pretty big threat early. So by the time I got this Holy Locket, or by the time I got the Ghost Scepter, you know, I already died seven times. So probably a lot of them to Phantom Assassin, who was killing me this game. Yeah, mostly PA. So in a game where they have like a PA who's like having a really good game, it's important to prioritize these defensive items. So this is probably just a misplay for me to get this Ghost Scepter second. I probably should have got it first and then gone back for whatever item seemed best. And it looks like I was trying at the end to get like a Glimmer or something, and the game ended before I could. So probably an earlier Ghost Scepter would have been good. I'm not sure how good this Holy Locket ended up being, but I kind of got it inefficiently. And drums would have been like okay here, but like in a game you're losing, you're typically not like getting like the drums or like the, you know, Medallion Solar aggressive items. You're looking to get defensive items or like healing items. So in this game, I'm a Mirana. We did win. Looks like it was a comeback win. We were way behind. And I ended up with a pipe. Let's just look at it this way. So I started with stick, got boots, got mana boots, got an urn. They don't have any particularly high value vessel targets, so I probably just kept it at, that's why I kept it at urn. Went straight into the mech. And then Fast Greaves as well, just to keep my team alive, provide that extra bit of sustain. It can be good against like heroes like Zeus, right, who do a bunch of damage all at once, and if you can like kind of heal that back and negate it a little bit, that can be helpful. And then looks like I went for the pipe after, obviously just really good against Zeus, Gyro, Pango. Mostly the Zeus, who just outputs a shit ton of damage. And then I was going Vlad's into Wraith Pact. So on Mirana, I feel like you have a lot of freedom with itemization because your leap gives you a lot of survivability. It kind of depends on the game. Sometimes like it's not enough, but some games the leap is kind of all you need, and you're free to go these like other team items. Your kit gives you really good like fighting in general. You don't need a farming item. You've got a really good follow-up stun. You've got escape, you've got utility with your ultimate, so you're kind of free to go any items that seem relevant. Like that's why a lot of Miranas get like Yules or something to enable themselves, but it's better if you don't have to, if you can just get team items. So I think my items, I really like these items, and you know, I'm not saying I'm the only reason we won, but we did make a comeback, and I'm guessing these items had a lot of impact for our team. Let's see, total heal 6,000. It's a decent amount, not as much as I had that one Undying game, but a lot of heal nonetheless. And you know, this doesn't track things like the heal you get from Vlad's, or like the damage you blocked with the pipe. You know, it just doesn't track that stuff. So probably pretty high impact. I guess there is heal tracked here. 13,000 heal total, with including like the Vlad's heal and like the urn heals that I did. So 13,500 is a lot of healing, actually. So I feel like that's pretty huge impact there. Damage-wise, not a ton of damage, obviously. Just throwing out arrows mostly and Starstorming. But Mirana's job isn't like damage, it's like anything else. So this is a win as Winter Wyvern. Looks like it was kind of back and forth, but we had a lead. Almost lost it, but then ended up winning. And... oh, this game was nuts. This game, I actually have a YouTube video specifically on this game. I live recorded myself playing this game. So I maybe will remember this one a little bit better. So I got a Bassi. If you saw my other video about when to get Bassi, like me and Jug, we both like mana a lot. It's just really good in the lane. So I went into Mana Boots, which is super standard. Blink Dagger. So Blink Dagger is just really good to like set up and enable yourself. It can be good offensively and defensively. Like if you need to play a dodgy split push playstyle, Blink Dagger is nice. If you need to be able to set up a good curse, it's really nice. And this game was crazy because they had Terrorblade and Arc Warden constantly split pushing. So the Blink, I think, was just to enable myself to like get a good curse and jump in. Because like with Venom Wards and like Arc Warden Clone, they're not jumping our backline. They do have a Nyx running around, but it's probably just positioning is really important, and sometimes they'll be positioned really defensively on like these kinds of heroes. So if you need to like close the gap, it's obviously the best way to do that. Back for the wand. Glimmer makes sense against Veno. It's not bad against TB, just like get away. TB doesn't really carry dust a lot of the times. Went into Aether. Like I said, they don't have a lot of backline jump, so like Blink plus Aether is kind of the dream on Wyvern. It just gives you so many, like it allows you to be like, it makes positioning a lot easier when you have both of these items. It's like you can always get your spells off because you have a lot of range and you have the mobility from Blink. And it looks like a Ghost Scepter, which makes sense later in the game as Terrorblade and Arc Warden are becoming bigger and bigger problems. Like you don't need to rush a Ghost Scepter against like a Terrorblade or Arc Warden usually, because if you position well, they're just not going to be hitting you. But later in the game, when these guys have more mobility and the Cologne is like very dangerous, it's can be really good to have this. This Terrorblade actually went like Silver Edge. He was like sneaking up on me. A couple of my I didn't die hardly at all, even though this is a really long game. But a couple of my deaths were from this guy like Silver Edging like on top of me, and I just died. And then I went Octarine. I was getting a lot of gold this game, I think, and it was just going very late, and Wyvern is really good with the Octarine. Builds out of the Aether that I already had. Notice I just left my boots once I had upgraded them, and then I think eventually I got bots, yeah. I think I had been considering Aeon too, but they don't have a ton of burst unless they're like getting right on top of you. So this is a really cool game, actually. If you want to check it out, you can. Like I said, I made the video. So you can watch me like, you know, buy the items in real time as the game's going. And, you know, I didn't get MVP, but I only died 3 times. And this Mirana guy is nuts. He went like, this is a support Mirana, and he went like damage items like a crazy person. Although I guess it worked out. So yeah, that was a cool game. And last one for this segment. Okay, so this game was kind of wild. We won. This PL was huge. I went 0, 9, and 10. So I was only part of our 10 of our 41 kills. And they had a Silencer, Shaker, Bat, Beastmaster, and PL. Like, PL and Silencer are like hard counters to me. Shaker is very good against me to cancel grip. And Batrider is also, like, pretty obnoxious to me. He has a lot of kill threat on me. And, like, they all have ways to, like, cancel my grip, basically. PL technically doesn't, but he can just kill me if he's on top of me. So, very hard Bane game. And I think how I itemized here is, like, pretty instructive. If you're in a game where it's, like, impossible for you to, like, play your hero normally, like, what do you buy? So let's take a look. So stick wand, right? Everything's normal. I don't end up going the mana boots. I think I just was too poor. So I went this Glimmer first. Took me a long time to get it. Glimmer first just for a little bit of survivability. Also helps with my cores. I can use it on other people. And then I did go back for the mana boots. Got a Ghost Scepter because PL was kind of out of control. It was just defensive against PL to ensure that I stay alive. At some point in here I got the Shard actually. Because I got it pretty early. So I got the Glimmer and then I got the Shard before I even went for the mana boots. This is just so I could split push a little bit, which on Bane is normally trash. But because I was so useless in fights here, like I decided to like get items that allowed me to fulfill a somewhat different role than what I would normally do, because what I normally did was like impossible. So I went Arcanes, Sentry, Ghost Scepter, and then I went back for Greaves, Mech into Greaves, which again is like not a Bane item, right? But what would getting like Aether Lens or Aghanims accomplish for me, right? They have a silencer. They have so many ways to like cancel all my shit that like enabling myself wouldn't have made sense because like my kit was already hard countered. So when you can't enable yourself to have impact, you either just get defensive items for your team, or you can get offensive items for your team, I guess. But we were like kind of losing this game. It definitely felt like we were losing. There was a point where the PL like was 1v4 and he like killed 2 of us. So it looks like the win probability never went in their favor, but that's very surprising to me. It was like very close. It was probably like here when like the PL was like solo killing us all. And but yeah, the Greaves definitely like helped me have a little bit of impact, even though like I was super hard countered. So that was this video. I will make another one with like looking at the games themselves, which hopefully will be more helpful. I don't know exactly how helpful this was, but you know, let me know in the comments if you think this was good or not. It wasn't ideal. I just kind of pulled out like a lot of like interesting looking itemization games from my history. I downloaded a bunch, which I'll show in a different video of like actual gameplay. And these are ones that were interesting, but I couldn't download anymore because too much time had gone past. So hopefully the next video will be a little bit better. But yeah, cue outro. Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you're interested in more of my content, please sub to my channel. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment and I usually respond to them. If you're interested in my coaching, check out the link to my Discord in the video description and you can hit me up for coaching. I've got all the information there on how to sign up and I'll see you in the next video.